Hello, welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be flying from Quito to Marisol Lamar in South Africa. And this is our flight plan from SimBrief, and we'll be using the call sign Prime Air 1024. This is not a VATSIM flight though, and then we'll be using the 737-800, and so our cost index will be 35, and our takeoff weight is 79,333 metric tons, as well as the estimated takeoff weight is this amount as well. But we'll not necessarily need that. So this will be our information I'll be needing. So our average wind, and so this is our planned fuel. So this is how much you should be approximately using to taxi, and then this should be our total block fuel. But I'll check it down here. However, I don't necessarily use this section mainly. I normally go down here. It's much easier. So this is the shortened version of what we highlighted earlier, 5.1, and it's in metric tons. We're using the metric tons, not the pounds, because we're in South Africa. And then this is how much cargo we have. This is a freight flight, so we will not have any passengers. However, this is our zero fuel weight, and our payload is pretty much the same as the cargo. It did not give us a trim setting because the aircraft will calculate it for us, and we will just add 6.3 as extra, just in case of a go around or a diversion. And our block time will be 0111 Zulu. That's our estimated block time. And then scheduled comment on what this means. Just comment on what this means before I make a mistake. So yeah, there we have it. And then our flight plan route. This is our flight plan route. So it will be from Quito. We'll be taking off from runway 36, and we'll be using the Rebec 3 Alpha departure, transitioning to Rebec, and then this will be our waypoints, and then as well as our direct arrival to runway 06. We will select the ILS approach in case the weather is bad, but we can check that on the sim as well, but no need, we can just check that here. So before we go to the our takeoff briefing and the flight plan, let's just take a look at the weather briefing. So this is the runway analysis right now. So this is runway 36. This is the length of the runway that we'll be using and the ILS frequency for that runway. However, we do not need that because we're taking off. So this is 13,444 feet, 45 feet, and then we have no remarks, nothing significant that needs anything serious. The runway is dry, however, so we'll be using this configuration with bleeds on, with the takeoff power setting, whichever the so SimBrief is saying we should use this takeoff power setting. However, let's see what the EFB says, and then this is our V1 speed, our rotate speed, and our V2. However, we will see what the EFB says. So we'll just take a look at the weather briefing. So this is our departure. So this is our Quito, and this is our weather briefing. So it's started at 4,000, scattered at 30,000, temperature 15 at 9, QNH 1027, no significant weather, and then the remarks as well, and then there is the TOF. So it's giving us both a meter and a TOF, and wow, so the weather is gonna change eventually, so becoming and temporarily. Okay, and then this is our destination weather as well, pretty much similar because they are not far apart. and then this is our alternate destination, and then there you have it. And this is the detailed info about the entire of Quito. We will not go into that, however, we just needed our weather briefing and our flight plan briefing. Now onto our departure briefing. So we will take off on runway 36. We will take off on runway 36, and we will go this way because we are using the Rebec 3 Alpha. This is the Rebec 1 Alpha, but it's quite similar. But we'll be using this departure setting, and we'll climb to at above around this waypoint, if it gives us this waypoint, because departure 3 Rebec 3 Alpha might give us a different scenario, so sorry about that. So yeah, we'll just get into it, and we will fix the flight plan and get going. If we need any more reference, we just go in here. So there we have it. So there it is, and then our departure, quite similar to what we had in our briefing earlier. And now we will prepare the flight, so we already have that set up, so we just go to the FMC and just get that ready to go. This is a 737, so it's not gonna do a bing bong sound, so there we have it. So our total fuel, oh, it's in pounds. Let me change that. Perfect. That was easier for you. So there is the 5.1 that we talked about earlier. Perfect. But I want it to be challenging, so we'll just turn this back to no. Perfect. So if you want to know the total, just add this and this, and it will give you 5.1. So if you like, I can bring up the calculator. There we have it. So 2560 plus 2560. See, 5.1, 5120. So that's the 5.1 right here. So there you go. That's how we know how much total fuel we have. So we will get going. So now we'll just our flight route is in. However, let's just put in the departure. So we're taking off. Weird load. So we just load it up. And we just wait for it for a minute. Then in the meantime, we just put in the zero fuel weight, which was 57.1 earlier on, and we'll put the extra as 6.3. So we'll put 6.3 as well. Not in the cost index. So sorry, and the cost index was, if we remember, technically forgotten, but we can just check. Go ahead and check right now. Cost index was 35, so just go there and put 35. There we go. And our cruising, one way we can find our cruising is right here. Right here. Flight steps. 310. So flight level 310. Perfect. There we go. And then this our plan fuel already put in, and then our N1 limit. Remember I showed you the N1 limit that was in the runway analysis brief. So we'll put that in there, and they gave us this power setting. So let's go to the performance page, and then we can try that out. So it's runway 36 from aircraft. Import weather. Bum. Different. Way different. So it's giving us this power setting and these V speeds. These V speeds are slightly lower than what we got. If you want to check what the V speeds were, you can always go back to the video and check it out, and you see how different they are. You can always go back to the video and check it out. So we just take the takeoff setting. We just use it because the EFB knows best. But today we'll be following the aircraft. Sometimes SimBrief tends to do that. So our temperature is 36.7, sorry, and it's giving us 97.4. Huh. Oh well. And then our trim is 4.58. Normally these two align, the EFB and the FMC align. So we just put our CG there, which is 24.6. That's what it says over here. 24.6. They remove the 5. They round it up to the nearest tenth, and then our flaps would be 5. And then normally our V speeds will populate here, but they haven't because we have not put in the runway details yet. So we're going by Rebec 3 Alpha, runway 36, route, activate, using reserve fuel. We're currently on ground power unit. So there we have it. It's populated 137, 139, 141. So 137, 139, 141. They match. We don't necessarily need to put our takeoff weight here because it's already populated. And then go to the next page. We don't need to fill this out. It's fine for now. And then we have all our speeds and our VNAV. So VNAV should work. Now let's put in our approach fix, and we will be landing on runway 6. So we use the RNAV 6 approach, and no transitions. So we just put execute there, and let's check for any discontinuities. There we are. Just like in the last time when I flew the Breachcraft, if there is any form of cutting we have to do because of low fuel, we will do it. We will have to cut. But anyways, we have everything set up, and then we will set our TCAS system. But first we just do a TCAS test. Oh, sorry, just set it to 2000.
TCAS test pass.
Awesome. Now we're gonna get set up. But definitely we're done with loading up the aircraft, so we can just get going. So we can close. We can release this. But first we need to remove the cargo that's outside. Yeah, we need to let this go first. So go to the menu. So there's two ways to actually access ground service, through the FMC and the EFB. So we can release this and just release this since we're here. Now we just go back to the legs page. Because I don't normally fly the co-pilot seat, I just set this to program just to give us an estimation of what will be left when we arrive at our destination. So this is how much we should have in here. During cruise, we'll go through some few checks and see how it's done, where we're supposed to be, and how much fuel we should have at that waypoint. So yeah, we'll get going. So we have our V speed set up, and then we have our flight display set up. We'll just set it to 250, honestly, because once we take off, we'll be too slow. Because if I don't want to use the V2 speed on here, because we'll be slow when we get in the air. We'll set our thing to about 16,500, and then we will set our pressure altitude, our flight altitude to, for the cabin to 310, and then that's pretty much it. For now, we'll stay here. There we have it. So LNAV will not arm until we start moving. And yeah, everything is cleared now. Now we can clear the door and start the APU. Just listen to that sound. Yeah, so there we have it. We have that sound, and yeah, we will get going back to the APU, and then we can turn this off. And we can remove that. We can remove the GPU system, and now we can turn on the hydraulics and then turn on the parking brake, then turn this on, heating, parking brake is set, and then yeah, just so you know, the APU also takes fuel as well. And then we can get rid of the pallet cargo. Honestly, guys, I don't have GSX, so this is all I can use. I just use the PMDG ground units. So after this goes, we release the chocks, and then we'll get going. Is the knob light turned on? Okay, it is turned on. But it closed very slowly. Very interesting. Then we just turn on our traffic advisory just to get any traffic in the area, as well as the airport information in case of a diversion or something. So we have it set to TARA. And there is our runway number. So far, no traffic. That's currently moving. That's detected by the aircraft, so yeah. Alright, so our pallet cart is leaving, and just wait for it to clear. There it is going. Alright, awesome. Now we can just get ready for pushback. So we'll turn on the beacon lights, initiate some fuel. We don't have anything in the center tanks, so we'll not be needing anything. Turn on the APU generator. Then we have it set up for starting the engines. We have no passengers, but it's required of us to turn on the fasten seatbelt sign, and we turn on the yaw dumper. Else we'll get the avionics, sorry, control, hydraulic annunciator. You get that if you don't turn that on. So right now, because everything is powered down, that's why it's not still illuminated. So we'll just remove the chocks, and now we can initiate our. We'll just go to runway 36, which is, honestly, I'm going to use this to determine where it is. So it's to our right, so we're going this way. So we'll push back facing right. So there we go. We just plan the pushback. Yeah, just do it to like here, on this point. Taxi, we'll figure it out. Alright. Release the parking brake. I don't know why the tug won't follow. Probably need an update or something. So, now that we're pushing back, we can start our engines. So, for some reason you can't start both at the same time. You have to wait one at a time. So there it is. Now we can initiate fuel. Have it, and that has shifted back into the off position. Can turn this, convert this power. Now we can start the second one. That's, sorry, engine number one. Awesome. And then this one rise. Awesome, perfect. Now the switch is gonna kick back to off. There it is, and then just leave it there. And we are still running on the APU. Now we have the engines running. We don't need to run on the APU, so just turn that off. And one more thing, I always, almost, and most likely would have forgotten is this thing over here. So there was a time I actually flew to Takeoff, got to 31,000 feet, and the cabin altitude warning was blaring off, and I didn't understand why. And I found out this was off. This was not set to our pressure altitude right here, so it didn't automatically set up. It was still set to starting the engines. So I always remember to go back to these and make sure that it's the cabin is pressurized, because now we're running on engine power. So alright, now that we have our engine started, do a full control check and taxi off and get going. So full left, full right. right rudder, left rudder, and then full aft down. Awesome. Okay. Now, what's cargo jet doing here? Straight from Canada. All right. So now we get going. Release the parking brakes, and they gave us flaps 5. So we'll set it to flaps 5. And we'll know by this over here. See if we set it to flaps 5. Parking brakes is released. And we get going. Looks like cargo jet is finally pushing back. Very interesting. Just when I decided to move, then this guy decides to push back. Interesting. Honestly, I think I'll just wait here. Wait for him. Turn this off. In the meantime, we'll just do our checks. So flaps has been set to 5. We did our control checks, system checks. Good. Brakes are cold. Engine is good. We have our V speeds. Our barometric pressure is set. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we can just go into the maps. So in the middle of the flight, we'll do a trip check and during cruise, and then I'll fill you in on what's going on. All right, gone. That was quick. All right, let's get going. Looks like he's going the other way. Interesting. Honestly, this is not realistic because the taxi line is pretty much close to that UPS over there. So just turn right here. That's gonna stop. This is very unrealistic. You actually clip under the APU of the UPS right there, so we'll just stay away from that. We have our lights on. We'll just set it to continuous. We'll do a final checklist before we go. There is our traffic right here detected landing on the other side. I'm pretty much confused as to where to go right now because everyone is going that way. But normally the taxiway should show us where runway 36 is. So I'll look into that. If we do make a mistake, I will just turn around, or we can just use this as well. So we're on the hill, so it's just trying to pick up. yeah, so far everything is good, and we are on our way to our destination. Nothing has failed, unlike in the turboprops or in the props. So this is a jet engine, so we're guaranteed a safe flight. But oh well, I seem to have been making a severe mistake. So I was right, runway 36 is the other side. So, you know, in all things, do not follow the crowd. I thought because everyone was going this way, you know, it was advisable to go that way too, but that's not where we're going. So I may have to do a U-turn and just go back. Luckily, this turning already serves its purpose, and it will point us back to where we really want to go to, which is perfect. Yeah. So we are not supposed to go there. Runway 36 is that way. You have to look out for that traffic. Okay, there it is, an American, so that we do not go into him. He's definitely going to the gates over there, so we don't need to worry. He's not a factor. But we will keep in mind for the cargo jet that is about to take off, because yeah, we're going on that runway. So just cut here. We need to do a full turn. Clear left, clear right. Then we have the Qatari and the UPS parked over there, but oh well. So why did I select this South Africa? Because it's very challenging to fly here. Even in the real world, you could go ahead and look it up in real life procedures, how tough it is to fly, especially with high density altitudes, with high terrain, like all these factors that make landing very difficult. So yeah, is Quito one of the airports that you'd have to be a captain to land in? Because I know about Madeira. Madeira, you have to be a captain before you are certified to land at Madeira. Is Quito one of them? Comment down below. There he is, he's going. So, he's definitely not a factor. Guys, yeah, just bear with me. A little bit slow. Going about 11 knots. If anything, you would just have to go on the next taxiway and then just take off. Brother, is he flying low? That's very low. Very, very low. Too low. I haven't updated the thing yet, so I think that might be why. I'll update it later, but yeah, that's very, very low. Hopefully that cargo jet surprise. And there is my favorite turboprop, the King Air. Beautiful. Honestly, I think we may just take off here. I know we plan to do a full use of the runway, so you know what, I'll just use flaps 10, and then we just go from here. So flows check, landing lights on, can turn this off to continuous, and we can turn on our strobe lights. Luckily this is not a night ops, so we do not need to worry about that. So perform the turn. This even shortens it even more, because the turning point is angled away from the runway. It's not giving us more room, it's actually giving us less room, because we are missing all of that. But it's fine. Taking off from Schroeder, we're about to clip that taxiway number. But yeah, so we would have to perform a short field takeoff again. Unfortunately, we do not have time because we are running out of gas and we are a bit delayed. So I will just do this, extend it for myself with the little I can, and then we will perform the takeoff, and I will be quiet from that point. Thank you. Alright, so I'll be quiet.
Eighty knots.
B1.
Rotate. Positive rate.
You're up. Ladies and gentlemen, that was very close. Too close, actually. Too close. Almost had the overrun. I'm not one to overrun takeoffs. That's not who I am. Sorry. Yeah, not one to do that. So yeah, we would be taking off as planned, and we'll set it to flaps 5. So the landing gear horn doesn't go off. And can send this off. The 777 that would have automatically disarmed. So, or in the 747. So right now we're just technically hand flying in according to the navigation. And we're over the mountains of Quito. So yeah. Comment down below when the altitude changes for me to go to STD, because honestly I don't know. In Quito, because in America or Canada it's 18,000 feet, but I do not know about South Africa, so maybe it's the same here. Probably. Okay, so we're just at around, we're past 10,000 feet, so just turn this off. Nice. Then we can turn this off. I'm gonna set this to off. And we can just turn on the autopilot. The autopilot is on, so LNAV is on, VNAV is on. So the only way for VNAV to work properly is if you have these right there. Because if this is empty and this is the VNAV on arm. So there we go, because of that power thing that we did. So VNAV is not gonna let us climb because 11,500 is our holding point. So right now our speed is set to 250 because VNAV said so. Now that we are high enough, we can just go to flaps up. There we go, and then the speed changes, and now we're going to increase our speed according to VNAV. So flaps up, lights are off, landing lights are off, and then we can proceed to climb. Slightly cloudy, but oh well. Nothing we can't handle, so. There we go. We forgot to start the clock, but just started from here. Good, we have successfully left Quito and we'll be off to our destination. So LNAV arm, VNAV speed, and then N1. We don't normally go by N1, but it's just the throttle because it's set to VNAV, it's set to N1. So, but however, if we weren't using VNAV, you can use the speed set by the dial. Interesting, eh? So there we have it. Okay, we're nearing 16,500. So just we are currently at Sinna. Perfect. So we are somewhere here. Sinna is around here. So our next point waypoint Yep, so we'll come here. We are definitely here above the. We're definitely above this. It's not Sinna, but it's Sirov. But I guess when we've passed it, and then we are making our way to here, and we should be at flight level 210 by the time we reach this waypoint, or we get to flight level 210 at that waypoint. So there you have it. So it's like 16,800. Just increase the radius, and then that's the end of our set departure right here. So that we'll reach our top of climb, and then we continue off to our next waypoint. So we'll just be aiming for 210 right now. FMC and the chart say something else. So in the chart it says we should be at Rebec at 210, but the FMC is saying 25. So I think honestly that's a safer option. So just set up for 25. Yep. So we'll just set up for 25 and then we'll keep climbing. So our lights are off, landing lights are off, APU is off, engine switches to off, our strobe is on, and the pressure area is set for 310. And we can use the Gen 1. I don't know, our yaw dumper is good, so we can just check if there's anything. Nothing, no issues, that's good. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, we are at flight level 310, and we are approaching Vatny. So we don't have much to go, and we will be approaching our destination. This flight is not long at all, so we do not need to do that. So this is what we have left, and it will be quick. Our runway is on the second page. That's runway 6 right here. All this is in case of a go around, so that means technically we don't have long. So that's our second page. This is runway 6, and this is the go around procedure. So then in that case, we will do our fuel check, and then we will look at how much we have right now. So we are approaching Vatny. We are 48 nautical miles from Vatny, and according to our flight plan, so this is Vatny, we're approaching Vatny, so we're here, somewhere here, thereabout. So we're in between Rebek and Vatny, so we're here. So that means, and this side is the estimated fuel on board, and that's, I will use this one, 3.3. So right now it says we should be at 3.3, and we have 1630 and 1620 on each tank. That will give us 3.2. So 3.2 is how much we have in our tanks, and it says we should have 3.3 by the time we, like, in between Vatny and Rebek. So that means we're here on top of the descent, so that's 3.3. And this is the burn, so we're burning 1.9 metric tons. Should be burning 1.9 metric tons at this point, and then this is how much we have available. So by the time we arrive, we should have 2.9. And so there we are. And then our landing data. So we're landing at runway 6. Runway 6 does not come with an ILS. It's an RNR approach. That's why it doesn't have the frequency here. So this is our length, the length of the runway, which is 6,000 feet, which is not much. And it's dry, luckily. So go to the performance tool. I haven't updated my 737, so bear with me. So we're landing at runway 6. That'll be our arriving runway. Let's check just to make sure. So runway 6. Right here, so runway 6. And then this is a runway length. So it's giving us the length. Now for the details, so we'll update it on approach just to give us a fair amount. Predicted required distance exceeds available landing distance. So basically we are not supposed to be landing here. Oh, this is going to be interesting. So let's just try max auto. Yeah, so max auto. still too much. This, even with this, with max auto, it's still too much. So we have to um improvise. So let's see with max manual, and select. So max manual is us using the brakes ourselves, and they said it would take 3725 feet of distance. So that would be our landing distance. So that's our stopping distance actually. So yeah, um honestly I don't want to overheat the brakes, so I'll just select it to auto. If need be, I'll switch to manual, but it's alright. So we have our planning set, and our VREF is 147 with flaps 30. So after our VREF planning, then we start this. Actually, we just start our descent right now. We're a bit too high, so we'll do a very quick descent. So 11,000. Sorry, I could not get the approach plate, so we'll just have to wing it. But this is not advisable. Anytime you are planning an approach, you have to use your approach plates just for efficiency. So we'll just stay at 10,000. Do a quick descent. This should be good, and then we'll drop the speed to about here. Yeah, 220 is good. Then we just use the speed brake. Aircraft might be a little bit shaky. So plan our VREF. So our VREF is awesome, using reserve fuel. Okay, so we are descending into the clouds, and this is gonna be interesting because it's mountainous, and if it's cloudy, that's also scary because we're not using ILS. So luckily, we don't have to worry about any traffic coming in because I do not see any traffic detected. So by the time, it's a bit stuttery, but yeah, by the time we should just be at our initial approach altitude here with our approach speed, and that would be 10,300. So we are exactly where we need to be. So we're just slowing down. So just so we're clear, it's not an ILS approach. We're using the RNAV approach. And then we'll set our brakes to max auto. we do not want to go through a runway overrun. So hopefully we'll survive this, and we will. So stay tuned, and
Caution, terrain. Caution, terrain.
just to let you know, I disengaged the autopilot because we were about to turn way too early. So I just want to get this approach properly. Yeah. So see you on the ground. Honestly, go around. That's very unfortunate. Um, yeah, we're trying to be safe here, so. So we'll just go back and then we'll come back around. yeah. Um, that would have ended badly. I was not about to force that. All right, so see you on the ground. Hopefully we survive. Okay, flaps 75, so flaps 30. This might have to be a very hard landing because, you know, we don't have a lot of runway available.
One thousand. $500. Sink rate. Sink rate. Sink rate. M.
Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to our destination in one piece. Wow. Wasn't easy, but yeah, we made it. We might have to do it 360 and just come back, backtrack. So hopefully there's a backtrack part over there, or better yet, we'll just do it now. But yeah, if you enjoyed that, like, share, subscribe. Um, stay tuned for more. Flops up. So as we're turning, we can turn on the APU. And then we can turn these off. Awesome. Made it full 360. Okay, why don't we just check on the brakes and see? Oh wow, we still overheated them. I guess that was quite impossible then. I mean, they're not that bad. 6.2 is not that bad. But yeah, we have landed, and let's see how much gas we have remaining. So we have 12.1230 in each tank. That's 2.4, and everything just vanished. So, or 2.5. So we just check in the flight plan, and so We arrived, which we arrived slightly under, which is not bad. 2.5, not bad, not bad. So yeah, there we have it. So now the APU is on and we can switch up. Okay, here's fine. Nice. Now we can turn on the landing lights. Turn off. My my bad. I accidentally pressed the brakes. My bad. We can turn these on, these off, because we are parking pretty soon. Not much room here, but no problem. Nothing we can't handle. Yeah, I was so focused on making this landing safe that I wasn't doing my call outs. It's just so busy. But yeah, anyways, we made it. And yeah, comment down below what I missed and what I should have done to make it a safer flight. Cause in that first instance, bro, I was too high. Didn't need to go through all that, and I had to go around. But yeah. But if you like, on our next flight, we can definitely take off from here. And go back to Quito. And we will come to a complete stop. And we have our flaps up and everything. Brake is still hot, so we'll just use the chocks. So we'll chock the aircraft instead of using the brakes. Perfect. Yep, so the aircraft is chocked. And then we can shut it down right now. Nicely done. Nicely done. And yeah. Then we can switch to ground power. And once this turns on, then yeah, perfect. And then we can turn this off. Turn off the strobe lights, which we forgot to do. And then we can turn off the beacon. And then we can open our doors. So, if you enjoyed this video, thank you very much for watching up until this point. Like, share, subscribe, and have a nice day.